Good morning, friends. I am Dr. S. Paulsamy, Dean, Research and Development, Konganadu Arts and Science College, Coimbatore. So today, at the outset, I am very happy to deliver the lecture about the topic Translational Research for Sustainable Development for the refresher course conducted by the Teaching Learning Center, Ramanujam College, New Delhi, in collaboration with Government Arts College, Karur. So this is actually the refresher course organized for the botany staff members. But my talk almost it covers all the physical and biological sciences. What are the latest developments? What are the needs of research in order to have a nation building? So all we know that research is the very basic component for every country to implement new schemes, new projects and other developmental activities. The best outcome of the research only the solution for developing various areas in a country. So this translational research for sustainable development. So translational research means it is nothing but the application oriented research. Before implementation, the technology or the research outcome is ready to implement. So in that stage, we are saying that is translational research. So even though the basic research is most important, the because every concept, every principle that can be developed on the basis of the outcome of the basic research. The application of the basic research is naturally goes to various fields for technological development and also the development of the tools and other designs to maintain, manage the various systems. So in this translational research actually we have covered the countries, the developing countries like India. The most important thing, we are having agriculture. Nearly more than 65% of the people, they are directly or indirectly relying agriculture. Another important area, healthcare. And then the power. Power is the most important for all sectors. And then the environment, forestry. These are all the most important areas we have to concentrate. So this we will see one by one how our research is required for each area. So agriculture, already I told that India is basically an agriculture country. Most of the people, more than 65, they are very directly or indirectly, and moreover, it is a production sector. This is most important. The countries like Singapore and then the UK, they are totally industrialist countries, and then they are importing grains and other food materials from other countries. But luckily, India is having vast area of agricultural land, and we are having different crops. So the thing is, we have to manage by implementing or employing proper technology. We have to manage all those things in agriculture. Then we can have very good products. So some basic areas we have to concentrate in agriculture is the water management, nutrient management, pest management, weed control, etc. So in the water management, you see, India is a country with a lot of water actually. The annual Indian rainfall is nearly 950 millimeter, but here and there, some of the areas are receiving more rainfall, and some of the areas they are receiving less rainfall. So our project, the internal structure, we are having a lot of dams, and we are having check dams in small rivers, etc. We are having proper water management system. But one thing, when you compare the other developed countries, we are far away. We are lacking in this area of the water management because we need only 10,000 TMC of water for all areas. Per year, we need 10,000 TMC of water alone. But we are having 14,000 TMC of water in a year through surface water or some groundwater. We are getting that much water. But in spite of that higher amount of water available in India, we are in short of water in many areas. Drought is occurred. So this is poor water management practices followed in India. Still, we have to employ the appropriate technology to manage the water. In you see the low volume irrigation systems, we know low volume irrigation systems, uh, the sprinklers and then the drip irrigation. These are all the things or the technologies imported from countries like Japan and then the Israel. But still, in order to use the water in an efficient way, still more methods will be adopted. For example, in Israel you see the low water irrigation system. They are having that water moisture constants, that is soil moisture constants, they standardized for every crop. For example, the horticultural crop like apple, 13% moisture is required, soil moisture is required, means they are having sensors in the field. In the different areas, they put the sensors, and the sensors are directly connected with the pump sets, well or borewell pump sets, and then the radar. So whenever the soil moisture content is coming down below 13%, immediately through sensors the pump sets will operate and it moist the soil up to 13%, and after 13% again the system will off. So this is the way the required water is very consistently supplied to the plants. So water is not wasted in that one, and more than 90% water efficiency has been decided in this method. And then this when you do irrigation through open land or the canal irrigation, the efficiency is only 60%, 50 to 60% efficiency only is there. But this type of the low volume water irrigation systems, we are getting 90% efficiency. Water using efficiency is more than 90%. And another important technology or the tool developed by the Japanese people, that is called as Zuzu. Zuzu is a small porous chamber. It is connected with the drip irrigation pipeline, and this unit is placed under the root system of the plant. When the water is passed through the drip hose pipe, then it is slightly, it is through the pores of this unit, the water is coming out and it is wetting the root system. The root that can absorb the adequate water directly from the porous unit, and not at all the water is wasted. 95 to 97% of water using efficiency has been determined by this Zuzu. And another thing, growth drone. Growth drone is not only for irrigation purpose but also for the fertilizer application. For fertilizer application collectively, both for fertilizer application and for the irrigation, this growth drone is used. The growth drone, it is also just like this is also having sensors. Through the sensors, we can supply water along with the mobile fertilizers like urea or whatever may be the fertilizers that can be dissolved in water, that can be supplied to the plant system adequately through the growth drone. So these techniques are well developed and it is used by many countries like Israel and some Western countries. They are using these technologies and saving water. So this we have to move. Next step, any new information or new steps that can be developed, it will be more useful for the water management. So these are all the items developed by the countries like Israel, Japan, etc. So we are importing. So indigenous technology, according to our local area, local need, indigenous technologies must be developed. So young researchers are there, water engineers are there, hydro engineers are there. They have to use this type of the water availability. They can consider the water availability at different places. Accordingly, the local specific technology can be developed. And another one, nutrient management. This is another important area. Since our country is located in tropical area, most of the nutrients, they are going down by leaching process and not at all absorbed by the plant systems. It is going away from the root system. The reason is, the nutrient distribution and availability of nutrient that can vary according to climate and soil type. In tropical countries, most of the nutrients, they are available in the biomass of the plant. When you take any 1 hectare unit or 1 acre unit, in unit area, when you estimate the nutrient content available there, more than 60% of the nutrients, they are held in biomass of that 1 hectare region. That means in plants the available plants in that area, available animals of different types, they are having more than 60% of the available nutrients. Soil, they are having only 40% of the nutrients. When you see in temperate regions like the high hills of Nilgiris, high Himalayas and other European countries, USA, North America totally, in these regions the temperate climate prevails. There, most of the nutrients they are available in the soil. Moreover, they are unavailable form. That kind of nutrients cannot be readily available to plants. So that must be decomposed there, because the low temperature, the microorganisms are not active there. So decomposition process, it is completely operated by the microorganisms. When the microorganisms are inactive or less active, the decomposition is also very slow. This is happening in the soils of the temperate countries. So the available nutrients that is present in the soil cannot be taken readily by the plants. That must be decomposed. So there nutrients are rich in the soil, but biomass they are having less amount of nutrients. The tropical and temperate regions, the distribution of nutrients is entirely different. Many pioneer people like Kira and Chidi, these two Japanese people, they have worked in different vegetations ecosystems at world level, and Wovington, the pioneer in the functional ecology, they have worked at different places, and they have finally estimated the tropical countries or the tropical regions, they are having more nutrients in the biomass, and the temperate regions they are having more nutrients in the soil. So the agricultural pattern in the tropical and the temperate regions are entirely different in terms of nutrient management. We cannot follow the same method what we are following in the tropical region. It is not applicable for the temperate regions. So according to the climate, according to the soil type, according to the other biotic factors available there, the nutrient management that can vary. So you know that the most popular ecologist Wodum, he quoted, the temperate zone industrial agrotechnology cannot be modified, cannot be transferred unmodified to the tropical regions. So that is the same word what he quoted. The temperate zone agriculture is entirely different from the agriculture of the tropical region. In the tropical region, actually, because of the less nutrients available in the soil, they are following the shifting agriculture. They are following shifting agriculture means the forest that can be cleared for the agriculture purpose, they are doing agriculture for 1 or 2 years, because the available soil nutrients are very poor, that can be readily taken by the first crop. Second crop, there will be no nutrients in the soil. So simply they are moving to other places and again clearing the forest in other places and doing agriculture for 1 or 2 years. Similarly, they are moving from one place to another place continuously for agriculture purpose. After 20-25 years, again they are coming to original place. Even in Assam and other northeastern states, it is called as zoom cultivation. It is followed in India. And this is the technology or the method of agriculture followed in tropical regions commonly. And the temperate regions, it is entirely different. Since the soil containing more nutrients, the agriculture is entirely different. They are following the short-lived monoculture, short-lived plants, short-lived crops that can be developed, that can be selected, and it is cultured. Because when you cultivate the perennial crops, the nutrient supply will be affected from the soil, because soil containing high quantity of nutrients, but they are unavailable. So continuous ploughing in the soil, continuous ploughing, monthly once or 2 months once, continuously ploughing, and they are exposing the nutrients, and these nutrients are slowly decomposed by microbes and they are absorbed. So when you cultivate any perennial crops, the nutrient supply will not be adequate for the perennial crops. So short-lived crops they are selecting, and they are doing agriculture in this area. So another thing, the nanotechnology nowadays, it is more helpful to nutrient management, particularly the fertilizers that can be saved. We told in tropical countries, most of the nutrients, they are not available to plant root system. It is immediately going down along with the nutrients. That means along with the rainwater, the nutrients are going down. So in this context, now the compost, that is compost making and application of the compost fertilizers, compost menu, that is more important. Composting is in different way. I told about the nanotechnology. The nanotechnology is most useful to conserve the nutrients in the tropical regions. So one traditional method in the southern India, particularly in the western part of Tamil Nadu, in the our forefathers in agriculture, they are following one method, the fertilizers. That means the farmyard manure, completely compost farmyard manure and other green manures after complete mineralization, they are mixed with the Arabic gum. Arabic gum slurry they prepared first. Then the fertilizers are mixed with the Arabic gum. Then it is applied to the field, sprinkled, or sometimes they can mix with the water, and it is irrigated. So in this condition, the scientific principle is there that the Arabic gum is having lot of nano holes. The small size, very minute nano holes are there all over the body of the gum. These nano holes accommodate the nutrients, that means the fertilizers what we are applying. So the root system, by applying the capillary force, they are absorbing the nutrients available in the nanopores of the Arabic gum. So Arabic gum cannot release the nutrients without any force, but root capillary force that can be helpful to absorb the nutrients available there. And this is the method, no wastage of the nutrients. There is no mineralization or no percolation of water. Along with the percolation of the water, there is no loss of nutrients there. So that kind of method, even without knowing the nanotechnology or important science of nanotechnology, our forefathers, they are following this kind of method for nutrient management in the field. And the compost, this is the naturally available manure. We are the agricultural waste and other solid waste available there, that can be completely converted into manure. So the lot of methods are there. Organic waste, the field waste, the paddy, everything that can be used for this purpose, that is completely compost by using the cow dung slurry. Cow dung slurry is the very good nitrogen source. By applying the cow dung slurry, that can be used. For example, many models are there for compost making, Coimbatore model, Nagpur model, Bangalore model, like that. The basic principle is the decomposition of the organic material or any agricultural residue by using the proper microorganism, through which we are making the compost or the manure in the field. So in the Coimbatore model, what they are doing, suitable depth of the pits are excavated. They are making pits in the field, some 1 meter or 1.5 meter depth pit, depending upon the availability of the agricultural waste. We can dig the pit in the field. One or two places we can dig the pit. Up to 1 meter, for example, we are making a pit in the soil. Then agricultural waste, one layer of agricultural waste is placed there, and above that layer, the cow dung slurry is sprinkled. Then another layer of the agricultural waste is placed over the this cow dung slurry. Again, cow dung slurry is poured on the second layer, third layer, like that, different layers one above the other. They are arranged up to, not only up to ground level, above the ground level, 0.75 meter height. We are raising that level up to 0.75 meter from the ground surface. Then it is plastered by using wet mud. It is completely plastered. So after 8 weeks, when you take it out, we are having the very good manure. It is moistured well and kept inside the same pit. Whenever it is necessary, we can use that one. So almost the same type of compost making is followed in all places. This is not only in the agricultural field, even the household system also. Our daily wastes, the house waste, like the solid materials, the food material, wasted food materials, everything that can be used for the compost making, and the home gardens and other thing we can maintain by using this type of compost. And another important area, that is pest management. Pest management, almost in many areas, we are nowadays using the chemicals, mostly the chemicals for the pest control. But in this latest scenario, all countries, they are advising to use the eco-friendly materials for the pest materials. Eco-friendly only for the by plants. We can get all the eco-friendly the pesticides from the plants and microorganisms only. Many number of plants are there. They are having very good pest control properties. For example, the Calotropis gigantea, that plant is an excellent pest control. Extract or any type or any form of material that can be prepared from the Calotropis, the paste or the mostly the watery material, slurry, extract, that can be prepared and it is applied over the crop plants. So that is one way. Mostly the fungi that can be fungal diseases that can be controlled by this type of method. Even the exotic plants like Parthenium, they are also having, that plant also having very good pest control property. So extracts of the plants are adequately, because we are having large biomass Parthenium. Wherever the wasteland available, we are having large mass of Parthenium all over the India and other tropical countries. So the Parthenium biomass is very carefully collected, and we have to make the extracts from the Parthenium. Simply by adding water, we are making extracts, and these extracts are for bacterial diseases. This is very good the pest control agent. Bacterial diseases, we can use these extracts of the Parthenium plant, and many number of other plants, the neem plant, and then the Melia tubia, that is the another member. So these plants, they are having very good agents. The biochemicals are there. They can control the pest very well. So our young people, the scientists, we have to identify the plant. So in our local area, what are the plants they are having these kinds of biochemical active principles to control the pest? Then that can be commercialized in the next step. So once it is successful, then it should be commercialized. It is an eco-friendly mechanism. Now almost many agencies throughout the world, they are recommending the pest control without the application of the synthetic pesticides. So natural pesticides, plant-derived, microorganism-derived pesticides, that can be used in an eco-friendly method. So environmental problems or no environmental problems are caused by this pest management. And weed control, nearly 40% of the yield, crop yield, that can be affected by the weed control. A great loss by the weed. Weed is also a great menace for the crop plants. So that can be controlled very effectively by using modern tools. So many methods are there, mechanical method, depending upon the plant, many methods are followed. Weed control, you see, for example, the mechanical eradication before flowering stage, the weeds that should be eradicated from the field. This is very conventionally we are following this method. Another one, the second one, we have to allow the weeds by irrigating the soil before cropping. One or two times when you irrigate the soil, as maximum as possible, the weed seeds available in the soils, they can germinate. Immediately we can eradicate the weeds after germination. So the soil is the best seed bank. So most of the weed seeds after germination, if you eradicate, then the chances of weed appearance in the crop plants will be reduced. This is one method. And another one, that is solarization. Of course, it is not affordable in countries like India. Solarization is the warming up of the soil. Warming up of the soil by using the plastic seeds and other things. The soil become warm in the sunlight. So the warm temperature or very high temperature, more than 50-40 degrees centigrade, is not favorable for the weed germination. In some European countries and the USA, in some areas, they are following the solarization method to control the weeds. And then the animal rearing, the sheep, goat, these type of animals in integrated farming, when you maintain this animal, the urine and other waste materials, not the dung, the urine, that can control the germination of the weeds. So now integrated agriculture is recommended. This is one way of method to control weeds some extent in the crop plants. So this is one weed control method. So many types of the methods, okay, the application, and another thing, we have to know the physiology of the weed before control, because some of the weeds need not be eradicated. It cannot give any disturbance to crop plants. For example, in the mustard field and the wheat field of North India, in UP and other area, uh, the Alkaji camelorum is one particular weed. It is very commonly available. This weed actually, the absorptive zone of this weed is very deep. In the wheat and then the mustard, the root system mostly extend maximum of 1 feet. But this weed that can produce the weed system 3 feet, 4 feet like that. So entirely the absorptive zones of the weed plant and then the crop plant is different. So there is no competition between these two plants. The wheat and the mustard, they can take the nutrients, water, everything from the surface soil, but this algae plant, they are taking water and nutrients from the deep soil. So no competition. This weed cannot affect the crop plant there. So we can leave the weed plant or algae there itself. Another thing, the physiology that should also be known, the weed physiology. For example, the Xanthium stumarium. It is a sod plant actually, very normally available in the crop fields, wherever the natural ecosystems are available. From there, small vegetations like mountains or hillocks, if they are available nearby, any crop plants, crop fields are available, the Xanthium stumarium, they will disperse and establish in the fields. It is a sod plant. So there is no need of eradication of the plant. Simply, when you give a flash of light 2 to 3 times at night time, flash of light, so that can control the flowering of the plant. So 1 week or 10 days, when you do this process continuously in the field where the Xanthium stumarium is available, that can completely control the weed, because they cannot produce the flowers and hence the seeds. So by one generation, the weed can be controlled there. So nature of weeds. So scientific approach is entirely based on the physiology, ecology, and other reproductive efficiency of the plants. So young people, the scientists, biology people, they have to know the ecology of the plant, physiology of the plant. Then only it is easy to formulate the strategy how we can control the plant. So every plant, suppose in your local area, other weed plants are available, then we have to find out what is the relationship between interaction between the crop plant and the weed plant. So in such cases, if it is indeed affecting the crop plant, then we can eradicate by following any method like that, mechanical eradication or any manual eradication like that. And then the wild relatives in agriculture, another important thing, wild relatives, how we can make use of the wild relatives for our purpose. For example, one thing, traditional crop varieties, that is very essential. In India, India is a very lucky and then the lucky country. We are having 166 crop plants in India. So no one country is having this much number of crop plants. When you take the whole European continent, very few, less than 5 plants, only the major crop plants like the rye, oat, barley, like that. Some very few plants, wheat, they are the major crops there. But India, we are having 166 plants, or the crop plants, because we are having different climatic conditions. Indian climate is not uniform. European country, even though it is composed by more than 30 countries, the climate is almost uniform in the central and southern part. But in India, a single country with different climatic condition, different soil condition, our bioclimatic conditions are also entirely different. India is the junction place of the three major bioclimatic regions like the Afrotropical and then the Eurasian climate and the Indo-Malayan climate. So these three, the India is the place where these three bioclimatic conditions are, they are overlapping each other in the Indian subcontinent. Similarly, biogeographical regions, more than 10 biogeographical regions are available in India. This is the reason the ecosystem diversity in India is very high. That's why the crop plants according to the region is also different. When you go to North India, we cannot see the coconut. Coconut is the oily plant, they are growing only in the southern India. Similarly, the other oil yielding plants like this groundnut, etc. So in North India, wheat it is growing well, sugarcane is also growing well. So according to regions, the crop plants are varying. So high number of crop plants are there. Another thing, the wild relatives, 166 crop plants, 322 wild relatives are available in India. These wild relatives are having excellent, marvelous genetic makeup. So that can be tapped appropriately and it can be incorporated in the genetic system of our crop plants for disease resistance, for drought resistance, and other desired characters. The genes from the wild relatives that can be tapped very carefully by using scientific methods and it can be incorporated in the crop plants. And then one particular example we can see the grassy stunt virus of the paddy. It is a great menace in the period 1940s. Almost all rice growing countries they got afraid at the time because this is a very severe disease. If one crop, one individual rice crop is affected, within a week the whole field that can be destroyed by the virus. There was no remedy at the time. People they are searching for the alternative genes. Many people they breed the rice crop with many wild relatives of the rice. Many places they have gone, and one Chinese man, Chang, in 1950s, he visited India for this purpose and he attempted the cross breeding between the Varisa sativa paddy and then the other wild relatives at different places. In many attempts, he failed. At one stage in Madhya Pradesh, he visited in the deciduous forest of the Madhya Pradesh. In the understory, one plant that is the Varesa nivera is there. Even now, the plant is available as weed at the time. It is non-palatable also. No animal can eat that plant, this Varesa nivera. So this man Chang attempted to tap the genes from this Varesa nivera and it was incorporated in the paddy plant. At one stage, he succeeded. So the total, this Varesa nivera genes, they are having they are resistant power against the grassy stunt virus. So this resistance through the genes that can be incorporated in the our crop Varesa sativa, and afterwards all the countries they are relieved totally. Rice growing countries like India and Bangladesh, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Indonesia, China, all these Philippines, all these countries totally relieved from this problem. So this is very excellent. Until the time 1950, the Varesa nivera was a weed. After then, this precious genetic material that can be available, after knowing that this precious genetic material available there, that plant is very much given importance by the people. And then another, some 15 years back, our faculty member reported one wild paddy in the topsil. Topsil is a part of Western Ghats. In Animal Hills, the topsil is there. In topsil, he reported the wild paddy, that is the Varesa malamblensis granulata. Varesa malamblensis granulata, that is the paddy, first time reported in the topsil by our department people. This is have an excellent capacity of drought resistance. Drought resistance, even 1 week, if there is no irrigation, the plant can resist. We know that the paddy is the amphibious plant, it needs water adequately. But up to 1 week, even there is no water, the plant can withstand. So plants, the people must try to get the genes, tap the genes from this plant, and it should be mixed with the genes of the Varesa sativa. So these kinds of researches are required because lot number of the wild relatives are available. Similarly, when you go to high hills of animals, the higher biomass of the tribal pulses, wild pulses are there. Smithia bigeminata, one for example, a very high biomass of this plant is available in the high hills of animals. So one thing, there is a barrier, one chemical barrier is there in the seeds of the pulse. So that should be removed because this pulse is having a high quantity of protein, particularly complex protein. This is a very good diet for the diabetic people. So this barrier, the chemical barrier available in this pulse is not at all useful for the consumption of the pulse. So simply the tribal people in that area, they are doing a simple processing, that is overnight they are kept in the hot water. The pulses, they are kept in hot water for overnight. Then they, after morning, they completely wash the pulses with running water, and then it is used for the cooking purpose. Completely it can be used. Another thing, because many crop varieties, many wild relatives are available, some small chemical barriers or physical barriers that will not allow the plant to use directly. So we have to find out what kind of barriers are there, how it can be removed, the technology, what kind of technology we can develop. So this is the hands of the young people. So you have to do this type of research, and these biomass, these rare materials available in India, that should be exposed to other people also. Another important example we can say, very recently, one journal, it has been published for iron deficiency, body iron deficiency. We are consuming ragi. Ragi, it is the finger millet normally growing in the southern India, particularly in Karnataka. Large quantity of ragi is produced there. This ragi is having high quantity of iron, but when you consume the ragi, the iron available in the diet cannot be absorbed by the body. So there is a barrier that is called phytates. These phytates not permitting the iron from the diet for the absorption by body. So these phytates must be removed. So some technologies now they have developed through which the phytates are removed, and the iron deficiency that can be very easily make up, because very high quantity of iron and the other vitamins they are available in the ragi. Because of the phytate barrier only, the diet iron that is not able to absorb by the body, the cells of the body. So this can be removed. So many such plants are available, crop plants are available that can be find out and can be used. And organic farming, another interesting area, most useful area, an eco-friendly method without applying any type of the synthetic materials, synthetic fertilizers, synthetic pesticides, etc. By applying the naturally available materials as fertilizers, as pesticides, the cultivation of the crops, that is called as the organic farming. So almost in all countries they are recommending the organic farming. India is also a country. We are having nearly 65 million hectares of the agricultural land in India. 2% of the land is used for the organic farming. Only 2%, very meager or little area is only used for the farming, organic farming practices. Still we have to increase the area. This organic farming, we are using the sources of fertilizers, the naturally available source of fertilizers. For example, for potassium content, we can apply the Pongamia leaf. Pongamia leaf is having high content of potassium. The partially decomposed potassium, the Pongamia leaves that can be applied for the crops, so it cannot pose any environmental problem. So soil health that can also be protected. There is no problem for the microorganism, beneficial microorganisms in the soil. The soil protozoans, they are also be well maintained. So these kinds of application, that is the Pongamia. And for nitrogen source, we know that all leguminous plants, they are having very good nitrogen. So that kind of materials that can be applied. And for the phosphorus, the mushroom compost, the mushroom, after cultivating the mushroom, the waste material, mushroom compost, and then the animal wastes, they are the shrimps and then the fish waste, they are having high quantity of the phosphorus that can be applied. little bit the rock phosphate that can be added in the initial stage. After then, the phosphorus content of the soil that can be increased by adding this type of naturally available material. The plant can get adequate phosphorus through this way. So these methods, so research is needed in these methods, how we can make